following evening, Van Helsing came by to tell Mina about the events involving her late friend. Before Lucy's death, Mina, you glimpsed the big bat, the tall man in the garden, the wolf, all the manifestations of Dracula. When he is in London, I interrupted, and it could happen to you, Mina. At that moment, my illness forgotten, I felt the challenge, and I answered it. From now on, Van Helsing, you can count me in on your vampire hunt. After all, I feel responsible, for it was I who sold Dracula the Carfax estate. Come, I'll show it to you. The mansion looked disturbingly reminiscent of Castle Dracula. That's Carfax Abbey, and if Dracula really lives here, we can dispose of him as easily as we did Lucy. Not so easily, Harker, no. Remember, he shifted 50 boxes of his native soil, 50 different coffins in which to hide away during his daylight hours. We moved up to the padlocked iron gate, and Helsing showed particular interest in the half-ruined chapel. I checked, and the boxes were first delivered to that chapel, but last September 17th, some of them were taken away. He scattered them very cleverly. Van Helsing dryly restated our task the next morning. 50 daytime havens, hidden in many unknown places. Yes, Argo. It's going to take skilled detective work on our part to hunt him down. Professor Van Helsing summoned us all together, and on September the 30th, we all swore a solemn oath. Miss Mina, Jonathan Harker, Arthur Quincy Morris, and Dr. Seward, do we all agree to devote our utmost endeavors to tracking down and destroying Dracula? We do, was the unanimous answer. Now, my friends, let me elaborate for you some of the terrible supernatural powers a vampire has. Dracula, from sunset to sunrise, has the strength of 20 men. To hide himself, he can command fog, storm, and thunder. He can change into a wolf, a bat, an owl, even a moth. Thousands of vicious rats answer his silent summons. He can vanish entirely, grow huge or very tiny. He throws no shadow and shows no mirror image. He can transform himself. Of course, he also sees in the dark. And if he feasts on the quantity of human blood, he grows younger. As to how he became an undead vampire, I have traced him 600 years back to one who, it is said, made a pact with the evil one in return for aid against the Turkish invaders of his land. He was killed in battle, but through the dark powers he arose, thirsting thereafter for blood. While we listened to Van Helsing, Quincy Morris slipped away. Racing outside, we found him just lowering a pistol. He told us offhandedly, a big black bat was on the windowsill eavesdropping. Count Dracula himself. It's well you chased him away, Quincy, so he does not hear of my plans. Back inside, the professor displayed a drawing he had made. It was a map of the London area. 4 black X's were marked in. By inquiring amongst the delivery people, I found out his 50 boxes of earth are distributed in these 4 places. We must visit them one by one and destroy them. The Carfax boxes first. Stewart then spoke up. My sanatorium is near Carfax. Why not make it our headquarters? We spent the day gathering various equipment and weapons together. Pistols, machetes, flash lamps, house-breaking tools, wolf's bane, and silver crucifixes. At dawn tomorrow, we will visit Dracula's first lair, the Carfax Abbey. The next day was October the 3rd. As at 4 o'clock in the morning, a screaming wail was abruptly heard from Renfield's room. We all dashed in to find him lying on the floor in a spreading pond of blood. For once, it was his own. Renfield, cried Stewart. What happened? Who did this to you? Van Helsing answered for him. I can tell you, Dracula. But why should he attack this poor demented soul unless... We must get his story. Hurry. The dying man gasped out his tale from a hospital bed, prompted by the Dutchman. A mist appeared outside your window, yeah? And then? Out of the mist floated a tall figure in black with burning red eyes. It was Dracula. He threatened me. He said... You saw what I did last night, Renfield. But you must never tell Dr. Seward. Understand? I rushed at the monster in a rage, but with terrible strength he lifted me high and threw me to the floor. You see, he did not want you to know that he had begun drinking from a new victim. Mina. Nobody had noticed that I was not with them, and when they rushed to our room, they found me in a stupor, while Dracula was at Mina's throat. Van Helsing had led them into our room behind the protection of a crucifix. Fools! Your league against me will never win. But Van Helsing drove him back. The crucifix can drive me away now, but the deed is already done. And with that, he dematerialized into a smoke that curled under the door and disappeared as his voice faded with it. Mina Harker is the one of us now, and she will aid me against you. When poor Mina and I awoke from our mesmeric daze, we were told the terrible truth. My dear wife went to pieces, crying and pleading. Oh, please kill me now, Jonathan, so I cannot turn against you. Please, please, my darling, if you love me. Your death is the last thing we want now, Van Helsing reminded her. For you will arise, walk from your grave, and become what Lucy was. Only by living can you help us defeat Dracula. And much to my horror, Mina's features started the same transformation that I had seen in Lucy. She could even feel the change herself. I can hear mental commands emanating from him now. Mental commands telling me to find out your plans for him. Yeah, but two can play at that game, my dear. I'll checkmate him in this grim game, for he has finally committed all his resources to the battle. All of them. On October the 3rd at dawn, I was left to guard Mina, while Van Helsing, Seward, Holmwood and Morris broke into Carfax Abbey. From the back gate, they reached and entered the old chapel, where 29 boxes of earth were stored. Instructed by Van Helsing, they went to work efficiently, destroying Dracula's coffins. Working as a team, they pried open the lids of the coffins. Van Helsing then placed a garland of wolfsbane and a silver crucifix in each one. Then the last man hammered the lids shut. With the wolfsbane and the crucifix in each box, the vampire was barred from them forever. The last 9 boxes should be in front of us. But wait! Wait! There are 8! No more! 8! Gentlemen, we robbed him of 49 boxes, but Dracula has 1 left. 1, but where? Stunned by this knowledge, we fell silent, until without warning the door flew open and Dracula flashed in with his black cape whipping from his shoulders. Fools! He reprimanded us. With the power to read Mina's mind now, I divined your plan and hastened here. You are the fool, said the professor, the first of us to find his voice. In the daytime you have no powers. By coming you have risked yourself. Attack him! I swung at him with a great cookery knife. Fiend for tainting my wife! But Dracula avoided the blow like a cat. Ah! You harmed me not. He leapt out of a nearby window, leaving us with nothing but his fading words. Farewell. Find my last coffin if you can. Arthur was quick to realize that it was a drop of 30 feet to the courtyard below and ran to the window to see if he was injured. But Van Helsing wasn't as optimistic as Arthur was and reluctantly said, It's a vain hope, Arthur. He is not subject to mortal harm like we are. He is escaping to his last coffin and we must find it.